What's up, ladies and gentlemen? You're going to play Crash Bash Part 7. We are here in the third warp room, and we are going after the crystals and relics that we have to get in this warp room. There are a few crystals in Metal Fox and Dot Dash, and I believe even Snow Bash that I didn't get yet, so I need to go after those as well. As do the relic for this level, Melt Panic and El Pogo Loco. El Pogo Loco won't be that difficult, to be totally honest. Like, that's not my biggest concern. Melt Panic is my biggest concern, and Inballism. Inballism isn't. This used to give me a lot of trouble when I was younger, but as I've gotten older and I've gotten used to the level, and it's gotten a lot easier for me, and the relics usually don't tend to give me all that much trouble. Both types, both the gold and the other relic. But Melt Panic is the thing that even to this day, I don't like that level. And especially if you're, having to deal with Coco is definitely a lot harder. It's, with Tilt Panic being as easy as it was, and then you go, Polar Push being very hard to easy Tilt Panic, and then you go to even harder Melt Panic. That's a very bad series of levels to go to with relic-wise, anyway, and especially Coco being as strong as she is, and as I said, pretty much running into a brick wall if you try to charge it her head on. And so, you just have to be. You really can't be careful. You just have to pay attention and just kind of do what you did with the other two Polar Push games. Just let them fight amongst themselves, and then just pick off whoever you can. With the lightning bolt being taken away in Melt Panic, it makes it a little bit harder because Uka Uka's beam is random who it goes after. It doesn't go after one character every time. It can sometimes go after you, which is a waste. It can sometimes go after the other characters, and sometimes they can miss. So it's not a for sure thing that they will get hurt by the beam, and that's really what you need for them to be hurt by the beam to be able to make it work. And for this level, you really have to just keep. You have to go after the force field. I'm not sure if they lowered the kick range or what. I'm not sure, but it doesn't seem to be as effective as it was in Beach Ball or Crash Ball. And it almost the way the arena is set up, it's almost forces you to have the force field, or you won't be able to defend yourself properly. And I don't like that aspect of this level. While I do know it's there and I can look out for it, but there's not a whole lot you can do. Like, I just lost a whole bunch of balls there, and that is one thing that is very difficult about this level. That makes it that's why it is so bad, and that's why so many people hate it. Is just because it seems like, and it may not be, but it just seems like you have to have the force field, or you're not going to be able to defend yourself properly. And the kick does stay out longer than in both Beach Ball and Crash Ball, so that does hurt, especially if you have a whole bunch of especially if you are low on points and you only have two people left, and all you have is you can lose quite a, especially if you lose your kick, then you can lose quite a bit of points very easily. Kind of like what Tiny did, or you can have a scenario like this where one of the characters will lose points, and that's bad because that's the right side, and I find it easier to dump balls into the right side goal than I do the left side. And this is very bad as well, because you don't want the guy in front of you to get knocked down early on. while it's not as bad as in Beach Ball, it still doesn't help. And so you want to be very careful and, you know, just pay attention. And just try to throw everything you possibly can over there. And try not to lose your kick. Okay, got lucky. Definitely got lucky there. But anyway, so... But this isn't the hard one. We have to go after Melt Panic now. That's going to be the hard one. Definitely not looking forward to this one. But that's not really the right attitude to have. You know, if you come into it not wanting to do it, you'll usually end up having a harder time. So I am ready to do this level, and I shall do it very easily and very quickly. But this level, it really seems to stand out, and it always has, for Coco being so difficult to knock out. This was a level that I actually first realized that Coco was so hard to fight against. Going after when I was trying to get this beat the game completely. Back when I was younger, I beat the game with Crash. And that's when I realized that Coco was so terrible, or that Coco was, you know, made this level. This was one of the last relics that I got, not the gold relic, but the secondary relic, the sapphire relic, pretty much. That's what it was. That's the other relic that you gain. And because of the requirements of that relic, you have to win, instead of 2 times in a row, you have to win 3 times in a row. And on a level like, you know, the Polar games, very difficult. Polar Push, Melt Panic, other events were very difficult. But this was, I believe, the last relic that I had to get, just because I couldn't, you know, I would, just because Coco gave me so much trouble all the time. And you can see how useful Cortex is. If he can hit you in the side or the back, there's no way you can save yourself from that at all. And that's just kind of, you know, how unlucky you can get with, you know, Cortex being knocked out first and the other two not getting anywhere near close to being knocked out. And you see Coco, I mean, she just fights. She's able to fight you if you try and knock her off. She can just charge and just kind of cancel it out, and that's what makes it so difficult. While doing this, quit. And the way that the character, the beam activates is weird as well. It doesn't automatically, it sometimes won't automatically register that it should turn on when a character's underneath you, or underneath the beam, and that's bad. But okay, so there we go. Ah, crap. You do want to be very careful about charging at somebody and then flying off yourself. That will happen to me probably more often than I would like it to, but I think it's already happened to me before. Maybe not during the relics, but I think during the when I was doing some of the other challenges for the Polar games. But anyway, so thankfully Coco got knocked out first. Dingo still is a problem, but if you can get him to fall underneath the beam, or if you can just get lucky, like I did with Cortex, you know, just hit him in the side and then he just ends up not catching himself. You do want to be careful because sometimes they can come back and push you very hard. And if you are vulnerable. Yeah, like if you have your side or if they hit your side or rear, there's really nothing you can do. Now, in a situation like this, you want to try and get. You want to try to. You don't want to fight Dingo head on. You may want to try to break to make him stop chasing after you, but I don't. You know, I got again lucky with that. But you just want to be careful while doing it. But 2 down to the hardest down. El Pogo Loco is still hard, but it shouldn't be. Well, I was gonna say it shouldn't be as hard. And thankfully, Rillaroo doesn't seem to do all that well here for whatever reason. This just does not seem to be a very good level for him. And because the dreaded blue lightning bolts are not here anymore, that does help. But because the AI characters will go after the speed shoes a lot more often, they can actually dodge a lot of the TNT. So Ripperoo doesn't provide a lot of support there. They will still go after the boxes around the TNTs, and that can help. That can be to our advantage at times because they can get trapped. Like you see Coco there. She really didn't have a place to go, but you know, it still does help. And they will sometimes avoid them as well. It's kind of random how they will. You know, they'll more often than not they will go after the boxes, but there are a few times when they will actually avoid them. And if you have like a pair of speed shoes or something like that, you can use that to your advantage and be able to take that box away from them. Or, you know, even if you just time it right with the, if you time it right with the boxes, you can you'll still be able to benefit from it. And I don't think I'm going to be able to make it. 2, 1, no. This is a bad area for him, but he is by far the best character to have. And I don't know why. You know, maybe it's a mental thing. But every time I use Rillaroo, just like on just messing around, or even trying to play through him on a story mode, he is definitely by far the best character to have on a Pogo game, and I'm not sure why. And the AI makes him be very good here. Again, not really sure why, but so there's really no, you know, even at a level like this, you still have to pay attention to what Rillaroo is doing all the time, just so that you don't get caught out. Like I did on that first round. As I said, the disaster at Pogo Go Go shouldn't repeat itself. At least I hope it doesn't. It's still, you know, very well. It still may, and I want to get to that. Yeah, I wanted to get to the white square, but I didn't want to end up getting blown up. If you can get a string of speed shoes, and then you can link some points together by turning them into squares, that's definitely a good strategy. 209, that's actually the first time I've ever broke 200 on El Pogo Loco. That's actually pretty good. But now this round I'll lose horribly, and I'll have to end up doing it again. So, but I'm glad I was able to break 200. I'm glad about that, at least. But anyway, now something that I don't believe I've talked about, and something that you won't be able, that, you know, if you watch this video you won't be able to tell, is that sometimes if you're like bouncing in the vicinity of another character, you cannot bounce towards them sometimes, and that's because, or like if you're, I had a better explanation of it just a second ago until I started actually trying to explain it, but Let me see. I'll see if I can find another example of it and point it out and show it, you know, and to try to point it out better instead of trying to explain it, because I'm not doing a very good job of explaining it. Okay, like there, me and Coco with those boxes. There sometimes, and it is kind of random how it does it, but I could have actually lost that box to Coco. And I'm not sure why. It doesn't matter the size of the character or anything like that. It's just, it's all the, I'm not, as I said, like, it's random. Sometimes you won't be able to jump towards another character that has you know, jump on a square in between two players. Sometimes you'll get it, sometimes they'll get it. It's just random. More often than not, and especially during the relics, you'll get the short end of the stick and you won't get that box, and you'll actually end up losing valuable points or squares or just different things like that. You know, speed shoes, anything, and it is random. And you, like I said, you won't be able to tell. You know, you'll just see me and another character bouncing, and the other, you know, the AI character will get it, and you'll think, oh, well, why did you lose that item or that box or whatever? It looks so easy. Well, no, it's actually not easy, just because of that mechanic in the game. Again, I'm not sure why it happens. It just does. But anyway, so we have to win with a handicap of Slippy Shoes, and what it does is it turns ice physics up to about 100, and it makes it very difficult. If you actually slide on the ice, you can actually go into a corner and slide. You'll actually sit there and slide for quite a while. I don't suggest doing that, however. You can actually end up getting hurt by a lot of boxes if you're not careful, if you're not paying attention. And you don't want to jump around nitros, but there's the handicap with Slippy Shoes definitely hurts. Thankfully, the effects of it are not active when you are in the air. So if you do jump, you see me jump, that will actually eliminate the handicap. But once you start running again, especially if you are trying to turn, or if you are stopping, it will activate. You know, you'll hurt. It will hurt. Or if you start off running, you'll be just a little bit slower than the AI characters. It doesn't really hurt you if you're running as fast as you can go. If you're running at top speed, it more often than not won't hurt you, but it still can, and you definitely want to be careful for it. Again, a good strategy is just to always wake the penguin. The AI characters will try to wake the penguin a lot more. Just jump around, hop, just try to stay away from it as much as possible. And that's really all you can do, to be honest. There's really no set strategy that you can use to help fight the handicap. Just hop around, stay away from explosive crates. That'll, as you saw in the first round, that will definitely hurt you. Thankfully, it will be normal. It'll just be the regular ice physics that you're used to. Again, you know, you will still see me jump around, just because it is very effective. Something else that changes with the difficulty is that the Wumpa Fruit won't be nearly as effective with you as it will be on the other characters. You know, you go after a piece of Wumpa Fruit, and it will only fill you up for maybe a spin, or like 2 spins worth of health. And then you see one of the other characters go after that. You go after a piece of Wumpa Fruit, and it heals them for maybe 4 spin worths of health. And you can see there, Kong throwing that stone crate at me, and then I spinning the stone crate into Kong. The difference in damage between us, and again, that's just part of the challenge. That is supposed to make it more difficult. Of course, you know, it still is effective to spin crates into the AI characters, but not very. And the AI characters being hit by the penguin isn't nearly as effective as it is in the other events or the other challenges. And you can see there, it should have killed Brio by being hit by the penguin, but it didn't. It would have killed me had I been hit by him, though, or if I'd been hit by anything else, to be honest. But anyway, not doing great, but okay. This is kind of iffy, I don't hate this level, but I don't like it. Really, just because of the ice physics with it. I don't. It doesn't seem to be done very well. It's like they made it just terrible. Didn't even try to balance it out at all. It's just flat out bad. And with the ability of the the challenge of the enemies take less damage, you take more damage from things, and that even happened during the trophy. This is kind of the level that actually started. Started that, and of course I lose all that work I did with the Wumpa Fruit. There we go. Okay. Well, I'm happy for that. But anyway, so. Alright, so we'll give the Crystal for Metal Fox a go. We'll see if we can get it. It's not too difficult, but again, it is a tank game and you are Crash. So it will be difficult, especially this is a Crystal. The difficulty is on hard. And so your bullets will be utterly useless. And their bullets will work a lot better. So the gimmick here, look at that. My bullet hurt Cortex for as much damage as shooting myself would hurt me. Alright, so you can see here what the thing was for this level was avoid the falling mines. Well, it's a glitch that can sometimes happen, and I'm not sure exactly why or how it happens. How to activate the glitch, but what it's supposed to do is it's supposed to drop instant death mines on you. The mines are supposed to kill you. Okay, there we go. It's supposed to actually happen earlier in the level, or as soon as the game, or as soon as the event starts. But the mines that drop from the sky, and the mines that you lay down, and the mines that the AI characters lay down will cause instant death. If you get hit by them, you're instantly dead. You fail. You'll have to start over. So you do want to be very careful about that, especially in a circumstance like that where I almost had Cortex, and it would have been very bad if I had died there. But anyway, just a good thing to use is the lobbing bomb. For both the Relic and the Crystal. That's a good strategy to use. A gimmick again, something that you didn't have in Desert Fox. It made Desert Fox a little bit harder than some of the other levels, and some of the other Fox levels. But I would still say a mine is maybe not quite as useful as I was gonna say you may want to stay with a mine and try to leave the mines to kill the other characters, but maybe not. Now, if you notice the darker gray squares in these corridors that come up out of the ground, those can actually, if you lay a mine on one of those squares and then the square comes up, that can actually trigger the mine and make it blow up before the timer counts down. And it may have happened before in a you know, in a previous, like the trophy challenge or something like that, and I might have just not seen it or you know been paying attention very well. Nah, I shouldn't have wasted it on. I didn't know Rillaroo was so close to death when I actually hit him. That's a waste. That's a terrible waste. Should have went after Tiny with it, and he wouldn't be harassing me right now. And you can see how much the Wumpa Fruit actually helped Cortex there. Okay, there you go. If you notice that, you know you may have to back it up if you didn't notice it, but the TNT detonating prematurely, you know, that just kind of shows it off what it does. But anyway, so that was Relic, not too difficult. Again, using the lobbing bombs definitely help, allowing them to kill themselves first and then just pick them off with the lobbing bombs or with mines or with long range fire definitely helps. You know, anything you can do, that will definitly help. But anyway, so I do apologize. I'm gonna have to cut because I'm running out of hard drive space. You know, this is the last level. It's kind of my luck, but anyway, so I do apologize again. I'm gonna have to cut, and then when I come back, we'll finish Dot Dash. So see you in a second. All right, so welcome back. Here we are in front of Dot Dash. We'll be doing the crystal in the gym, like I talked about just a few moments ago. The crystal for this isn't too difficult, but it can be. It really just depends. Win without being hit by a missile. You can see the background is very similar to Dingo's Canyon. Oops. Forgot which button started it. So all you have to do is just make sure that you don't get hit by a missile. That you have to be careful. I don't think you can throw a missile at yourself, so you don't have to worry about that, but you do have to be careful of the AI characters getting the missiles. You want to try and make sure that if you do see someone with a missile, you knock them off the track. If you don't knock them off the track, however, you know, if you don't knock them off the track, however, you just want to make sure that you are the only one that collects missiles. If they collect missiles, they more often than not will shoot them at you. And so that does kind of force you to go a little bit slower than you want to, just because you have to try to go for the missiles a little bit more often than you would want to, or that you normally would. But for the most part, you know, it's not too difficult. It's pretty easy. If you play it on two-player co-op, though, that can be pretty difficult, and I'll talk about why later on. When I do during the wrap-up video, I'll talk about the co-op and how difficult it is and all that. But now the difficult thing with the relics are the arena champions are Tiny, Kong, Dingo, Rillaroo, and this is another event that really doesn't have that no one character is faster than the others. They're all evenly matched. It's just the difficulty spikes. The AI characters will go after the Wumpa Fruit a lot more often. They will not mess around as much. They won't get stuck on the sides as often as they do in the other events. They will, as I said, they will die for the Wumpa Fruit a lot more, so they will steal it from you a lot more often. And if they use it, they will stockpile it instead of just using it for short, quick bursts. And that can end up catching you out if you're not careful. You always want to be aware of where the closest guy to you is. You see that Kong stayed about half a lap behind me the entire race. Rillaroo was starting to catch up. It's just little things like that that you want to watch out for and be careful. It does seem, though, and I'm not sure if this is like an arena champion thing or if this is just a difficulty thing, but the acceleration at the start, the AI characters get a better acceleration at the start, and so that kind of makes cutting to the inside a little bit harder, and that will happen for every race. They will get off the line a little bit faster than you can, so may want, that is something to look out for. There is nothing you can do to stop it, however. So, there is no point in actually trying to stop it, but oh wow, that's something bad that can happen sometimes. One of the other characters can get turned around, and they will act almost like a battering ram, and they will actually send you backwards. Oh crap! I messed that up. I didn't carry the boost all the way around like I did. I kind of just came to a stop. But you can watch. The best way that you can tell that the other characters are getting a jump at the line is if you watch Rillaru when we start the next event. You can see how big of a boost he actually gets, or like how fast he does get off the line. And this is pretty difficult, just because you don't have the open, like in the other events where you could just, you had free run of the Wumpa Fruit and all that. You have to actually fight the other characters for the Wumpa Fruit now, and you always want to watch out for that. And if someone gets a lap ahead of you, there's really no point in continuing on to try and fight. Like I was definitely last in that. Nothing I could do to stop that, sadly, but just, again, just try to stay on the inside. If you have to venture out to the middle or the outside of the track to go after some more fruit, I definitely do it. You can see how big of a boost it's giving to Rillaru. And that's just what the AI does. They will get a whole bunch of Wumpa Fruit, and they will just continuously boost as much as possible, and they will end up getting 2 laps ahead of you very easily. Now, of course, if you can do that, you can catch up to them, but you want to be careful because they will shoot at you. They will shoot at you whenever they can, so you want to be careful about that. And I don't think I mentioned this before when I did the Toxic Dash in this for the first time, but the noises that the little tones that you hear when you complete a lap are the same tones that you hear when you lose a point in the ball games. Each character has, has their own tone, and you'll listen to it, and you'll hear it. A lot of things like that will be like that in like with the ring ding. The colors of the balloons was the same colors that you would use in the Pogo games, and just there's little things like that they added for the different levels. That I'm not sure, if it was just so they didn't have to use any new sound assets or whatever, but it doesn't really matter if they use it or not. It's fine. It just does. You want to look out for those types of things just to see if you can, I guess, find them all or whatever. But anyway, so we'll see if we can do this. Thankfully, they don't seem to lose a lap all that often, or like gain a lap at the start. Like sometimes they will. They usually waits for the later dash events until they start going ahead a lap on the starts of the races. And now in this instance with Rillaru, you want to be careful because you don't want to use all your boost up in one go, because if you can have a bunch of boost at the end of the race to try and get past Rillaru, you definitely want to use that. But because Rillaru isn't falling off the track like I need him to, I got lucky there. If I had messed up and stalled, I would have definitely lost. But you don't want to let any one character put you in that position. You want to be very careful and pay attention to that kind of stuff, and always watch and make sure that you don't get caught in a section like that. But anyway, so I'm gonna look for trivia for the crystals that I've done, just to see if they show anything or talk about anything for the crystals that I've done. here. So we'll start with, let's see, which is the level, Snow Bash. Let's see if there's anything. No. And no trivia for the crystal for Snow Bash, so we'll go to Metal Fox. Nope, nothing for there, so we'll go to Dot Dash. Nope, nothing for that, so I guess they don't have any trivia for the crystals. But anyway, so thank you for watching. The challenge of the video is how many times was the penguin woke up in all of my attempts at the Relic challenge during Snow Bash? Snow Bash. Thank you for watching. In part 8, we will be doing the 4th Warframe, so until then, later everyone.